Representative and colleagues, every effort to stop the war in Syria through negotiation must be supported, but not every outcome can be accepted. The cessation of hostilities is very fragile, but it must be a step towards ceasefire, because the appalling violence, death, destruction, starvation and the extraordinary human suffering has gone on for far too long. The Syrian people deserve more support from us, and we must strengthen our negotiating and leadership position. Had we developed a strong, common and comprehensive EU strategy towards Syria earlier, we would have played a role of leadership and not merely be first in facing the consequences of inaction. The EU is most visible in its divisions and its struggle to offer humane shelter to those fleeing the war, many of whom are Syrians. Yes, we are key for humanitarian aid, but we need more efforts to stop the source of suffering. Meanwhile, Russia continues to help Assad and creates new realities on the ground and then negotiates for humanitarian aid. Putin jumped into the vacuum using the most cynical and brutal violence of bombing hospitals, civilians and rebels that share our agenda in fighting the so-called Islamic State or Daesh. And this kind of behaviour, led by Putin's Russia, must have a price. In fact, I believe we need EU sanctions for the violence used in Syria. Now, I have a few brief questions. After we actually heard that the continuation of talks has been delayed and will not start tomorrow but Monday, the monitoring of the cessation agreement independently and credibly becomes even more important, as well as the monitoring of aid delivery. How is this organised, and are food drops considered for those suffering the most? You mentioned the packages on Lebanon and Jordan. Is it enough? I frankly worry a great deal about the situation in Lebanon. While so much attention goes to Turkey, we cannot afford Lebanon to collapse. And lastly, how will you use your leverage and contacts with the Iranian leaders to ensure they play a more responsible role and stop supporting the brutal Assad regime? Thank you.